Exodus 21, Laws for a Holy Society, Justice, Restitution, and the Value of Life. The mountains still smoked, the thunder had barely faded, and the people, trembling, awestruck, had heard the voice speak 10 eternal words. But God was not finished. He gave them not just principles but practices, not just ideals but laws, a blueprint for a holy society where justice rolled down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. These are the ordinances, the judgments, the shape of daily life under the rule of God. Hebrew servants. If you buy a Hebrew servant in a world of slavery, God planted a seed of freedom. 6 years of service, the 7th release. No payment, no strings. Simply go free. But in the 7th year he shall go free without paying anything. If he comes alone, he is to go free alone. But if he has a wife when he comes, she is to go with him. If his master gives him a wife and she bears him sons or daughters, the woman and her children shall belong to her master, and only the man shall go free. But if the servant declares, I love my master and my wife and children, and do not want to go free, then his master must take him before the judges. He shall take him to the door or the doorpost and pierce his ear with an awl. Then he will be his servant for life, a permanent mark of a love so deep it chose bondage over freedom, and he would serve forever, not as a slave, but as one who had chosen. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as male servants do. If she does not please the master who has selected her for himself, he must let her be redeemed. He has no right to sell her to foreigners because he has broken faith with her. If he selects her for his son, he must grant her the rights of a daughter. If he marries another woman, he must not deprive the first one of her food, clothing, and marital rights. If he does not provide her with these 3 things, she is to go free without any payment of money. For daughters, there was protection, not exploitation. Rights, not abandonment. If a man took a wife, he must provide food, clothing, love. Withhold these and she walked free. Personal injuries. Anyone who strikes a person with a fatal blow is to be put to death. Life is sacred. Take it deliberately, and your life is required. However, if it is not done intentionally but God lets it happen, they are to flee to a place I will designate. But if anyone schemes and lies in wait, even the altar of God would not protect him. Justice would find him. That person is to be taken from my altar and put to death. Anyone who attacks their father or mother is to be put to death. The family is the foundation. Strike at the root and the tree falls. Anyone who kidnaps someone is to be put to death. A person is not property. Steal a life, lose your own. Anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death. Words wound. Honor is due. The mouth that curses those who gave it breath will be silenced. Restitution and justice. If people quarrel, and one person hits another with a stone or with their fist and the victim does not die but is confined to bed, the one who struck the blow will not be held liable if the other can get up and walk around outside with a staff. However, the guilty party must pay the injured person for any loss of time and see that the victim is completely healed. Life happens, conflict happens, injuries happen, the law provided. Pay for lost time, ensure healing, make it right. The slave whose eye was destroyed. Free, his tooth knocked out. Free the master who maimed lost his servant forever, a fitting compensation, property, and responsibility. Anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies as a direct result. 21. But they are not to be punished if the slave recovers after a day or 2, since the slave is their property. If people are fighting and hit a pregnant woman and she gives birth prematurely, but there is no serious injury, the offender must be fined whatever the woman's husband demands and the court allows. But if there is serious injury, you are to take life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, not vengeance. Proportionality, not an eye for a tooth, but an eye for an eye. Justice measured, not multiplied. An owner who hits a male or female slave in the eye and destroys it must let the slave go free to compensate for the eye. And an owner who knocks out the tooth of a male or female slave must let the slave go free to compensate for the tooth. If a bull gores, if the bull was known to gore, if the owner was warned and did nothing, then the owner dies with the bull. Negligence is not innocence. If a bull gores a man or woman to death, the bull is to be stoned to death, and its meat must not be eaten, but the owner of the bull will not be held responsible. If, however, the bull has had the habit of goring and the owner has been warned but has not kept it penned up and it kills a man or woman, the bull is to be stoned and its owner also is to be put to death. However, if payment is demanded, the owner may redeem his life by the payment of whatever is demanded. This law also applies if the bull gores a son or daughter. If the bull gores a male or female slave, the owner must pay 30 shekels of silver to the master of the slave, and the bull is to be stoned to death. If anyone uncovers a pit, or digs one and fails to cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls into it, the one who opened the pit must pay the owner for the loss and take the dead animal in exchange. Responsibility extends to what we create. A hole in the ground, uncovered, becomes a trap. The one who dug it must answer. If one bull injures another, and it dies, the two parties are to sell the live one and divide both the money and the dead animal equally. Settle it fairly. Sell the living, divide the loss. However, if it was known that the bull had the habit of goring, yet the owner did not keep it penned up, the owner must pay, animal for animal, and take the dead animal in exchange. Then full restitution. Justice knows the difference between accident and negligence. These were the foundations, the beginning of a society built on justice, mercy, and the fear of God. But there was more. Much more, for God was not just giving laws, He was shaping a people. Exodus 21, the chapter of the covenant, civil laws, civiamp, social justice for a holy people. This is God's concern for order, justice, and the value of human life, even in the context of ancient Near Eastern culture. This chapter isn't just a list of rules, it is the foundation for a society where people are held accountable for their actions. We explore the dignity and limitations of servitude. Verse 111, how these laws regulated a common practice to protect the vulnerable, contrasting with later slavery. The sanctity of life. Verse 1236, the distinction between premeditated murder and accidental killing. Cities of refuge foreshadowed the eye for an eye principle as a limit on vengeance, not a command for it. Responsibility for others. VV 2836, the principle that we are our brother's keeper. If our negligence harms another, we are accountable. Let's dive into part 2 of the laws of Moses. For now,
subscribe, like, comment, and hit notification button for more videos, more Bible study, and more Bible knowledge. We got you.